record on this computer. That's always a comforting thing to hear. Recording in progress. All right, I'm letting everyone in here.
All right.
Admitting all. Admit. Welcome, everyone.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us tonight. Is everybody, Jake, can you tell if everybody has signed on?
We have most, we're still waiting for a few, it looks like, but we have most on.
Okay, cool. So if you've been taking the classes for a while, you know that we try to simplify everything and kind of paint more from intuition. So tonight it's kind of a special night in the sense that we're going to start focusing on more complicated subjects. Not that we won't do the simple subjects more or again, but we're going to start focusing on more complex subjects and see if we can get our recipe to work. So simplify, make a mess, edit, and then use our intuition to finish it off. So it's going to be a fun class. Again, I'm going to throw out ideas. I'm going to throw out suggestions, principles of painting. And you, as the artist, take what I say, take what's being said, and interpret it yourself. So I'll kind of explain things as we're going along. And again, trying to maybe use some illustrations, trying to keep things simple so that every one of our paintings will turn out fantastic. So there will be some frustration, which is awesome. We love frustration because it tells us what not to do next time. So if you're getting frustrated, we're going to work through it. And maybe even with this style of painting, where we're making a mess and then editing it, part of that mess is going to be the frustration. Well, how do we edit to work through it to end up with a great painting? So maybe just like we usually do, we will do some sketches. But before we do that, many of you guys are starting to recognize Jake. Jake is my nephew. We've been working together for about a year now. And Jake, you want to say hi?
Hello, everyone. Yeah, I just wanted to mention before we start, this is our first, let's see, this is our first ballerina class, this subject, which is exciting. And then so many of you may not know who Jeff is, many of you do, but in the past we've had a few that were unfamiliar with Jeff's work. Jeff has been, I know, Jeff's been, he's been painting for around 20 years. Abstract painting is kind of what he specializes in. I guess, Jeff, is there anything that you want to add to that as far as style of painting? I mean,
I kind of describe it as expressionistic impressionism. So there's an element of impressionism, giving the impression of something, but also expressionism is just getting your thoughts, your feelings out on the canvas. And so I kind of blend those two. They come together and become what I would call expressionism, impressionism.
Very nice. Well said. You must have practiced that.
Yeah, man, all day.
So that's kind of a little background there. So just some reminders. We basically, and how these classes go, we usually just keep everyone muted just because of the quantity of participants in the classes. It just keeps it easy. We're able to more easily move through the classes with minimal distractions. And we still got a few popping on here, but then also if you have any questions, you can use the chat feature. I'll be monitoring that. So if you have any questions, that's the place to go to put your question in there, and then I'll ask Jeff Let's see here. What else do we have? Now this week's class is a little bit different. We're actually recording this class, and obviously we wanted to put a disclaimer. You know, if you're uncomfortable with that for any reason, we're not recording. We're only recording Jeff. We're not recording anyone else. And everyone's muted, so you know, no other nothing else is going to be recorded. But if you're uncomfortable with that for any reason, if you want to see it ahead of time before we post it, just let us know. You can send it an email or a message on Instagram or anything like that. With the recording, we're gonna post it tomorrow to YouTube, because we've had a few that are interested in painting along after they weren't able to make it to the class, so they want to paint along later. But you can also use this as a it's just you know, way to go back and review the information that you may have missed. So other than that, I think that's all I have to say. I'll stop talking now. Let Jeff do the exciting stuff. Good to see everyone.
Thanks, Jake. So Jake said I've been painting 20 years, and here's a little interesting thing. When I've been painting my whole life, which many artists, maybe you have been painting your whole life. I always loved art, but maybe you feel like you're not good enough. And that's how I felt. And that's how I felt for 35 years of my life. And so, well, 30 years of my life. And when I finally got brave enough to go show somebody, what I realized is that art is unique and individualized, each one of us. So we're all going to create differently. And that's why I'm going to stress creating intuitively. So that's the whole point of this class, is that we're all going to paint different. Every one of our paintings will turn out. They will all be unique. And that's what is cool about being creative. So if you're doing this for the first time, keep painting. Your unique style of creating art will come out. Even though you might be kind of going along with the process right now, you're going to get more confident and try new things. And that's when art gets really fun. So that's what we'd like to encourage you to do. So let's get started. So we're going to do some sketches. A pear. This is our muse tonight. It's a fake pear. Traditionally, artists will paint a pear in order to learn shapes of the body. And so that's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to use this idea of this fake pear to kind of create our figure, and then of course our ballerina. So what do I mean by that? I'm going to grab my charcoal, and if you look, I can already start seeing her, the shape of her already. So just to you see that's how that shape is coming about from that pear. So if you want to try that, there it is. That shape right there. And it can be more rounded. It can be squared off. Actually, all of this is going to go underneath her tutu, so it doesn't matter. We'll draw her leg. Now, getting the measurements of the leg, it's similar to your finger here, from this knuckle to this knuckle and this knuckle to this knuckle. Those proportions are similar to a leg. So I'm gonna we're not trying too hard. Look at, before you make a mark, kind of look to see where the If it looks right, she got some big calves on her here. There we go. So we still are thinking about that pear. We came out here with this. As a matter of fact, if you want to just scribble it in, do not worry about how that's turning out. So with our I don't know if that made sense.
You want?
And again,
Hey,
we're
Jeff,
gonna. Oh, what's that?
oh, I was just wondering, do you want to get the camera just a little bit closer? You could
Yes.
probably put it off a little bit to the side too, if you.
I forgot we were going to do that. Whoa!
No problem. Oh yeah, that's a lot better. Perfect.
We'll
Thank
just
you.
do a little head up there for her.
So we're just kind of doing a few practice sketches right now. If you have it doesn't have to be charcoal, but some had asked about that in the past. You can use just a pencil and a piece of paper and practice it a couple times.
So let's try that again. Thinking about that pear. The looser you sketch, the happier you're going to be with your drawing. And that's going to translate nicely in our painting. So we really just want to make marks on there, suggesting the figure. And of course, we can add more details here. Her shoulder will be up a little bit higher than this shoulder. Oop. And of course, we're not going to worry about her feet just yet. Yes, I will slow down. We're going to actually keep repeating this process. And the idea is we want to get so comfortable drawing this that when we start to paint, the paint's going to actually, the painting will actually create itself. We'll have the confidence to apply the paint in a way that we know already that it's going to work. So if you want, you can just do little ballerinas. And of course, we're not worrying about the face or anything like that. So just keep repeating that over and over again. Matter of fact, see how fast you can do it. And of course, this works if you ended up doing
I think we got another question here. Is the knee in the back further out or closer to her body?
say that again.
Is the knee in the back further out or closer to her body?
So so we have it's good. There's the first leg. So it's actually, let's do our full pair. But that's, you probably can't even see that. Let me do that over. So on her, it's going to start up higher. So the standing one, you kind of can just draw your pair. It's obviously exaggerated. So like they got, I think she might need to cut down on the beer.
Someone said, can we let Can we let her use the restroom? My ballerina looks like she needs a break.
My ballerina too. So as we did the animals in the past, we always looked for key features that identified them, whether it was a raccoon or a wolf, a bear. The same is true with the ballerina. We can tell the story of a ballerina just by that tutu. If you have a
Hey, Jeff.
pencil eraser,
Hey, Jeff, are you able to, no worries if not, but are you able to get the camera just a little bit closer?
yes.
Might be able to see the detail a little better.
How's that?
Perfect.
Oh wait, now you can see how bad they are. But this looseness, remember, we're going to create the mess with our painting, and then we're going to start editing it based on intuition. So don't worry. You really just want to make marks. Actually, let me ask, how is everybody doing? Yeah.
Give you a thumbs up.
Is that a challenge? All right, let's try to simplify it. So think of the letter B. So that's pretty easy. And we got her legs here. If it's a challenge, just do marks. So see how simple you can get the shape. And you're right now, so we've been practicing this basic figure, and what you're struggling with is what I'm doing and what you know you should do, or what you know you can do. And you're trying to make those two blend together. Throw out what I'm doing. Truly think about your art and do it according to your intuition, according to your knowledge of that, of a ballerina. So once we start painting, you're going to see that it's a lot easier. I say with a maniacal laugh. But the idea, again, is we're going to create the mess. We're going to create the basic shapes. Now we're going to come back and start editing. And are there any rules of how we edit? Nope. That is going to be the cool thing. Again, it's going to rely on your intuition of editing. All right. So as I'm painting, it'll make a little more sense. I cannot recommend enough every few minutes standing back from your painting 6 to 8 feet. And the reason why, imagine if you're at an art gallery or at a museum, where are you standing looking at that painting? It's usually 6 to 8 feet away. And that's where you want to make your decisions. When you're painting, you really should be painting from that 6 to 8 feet away and applying paint as you walk up and get close to it. So when you're 6 to 8 feet away, now you have time to really take in the whole painting. And when you stand 6 to 8 feet away, have your camera on your cell phone and look at your painting with your cell phone camera. Or if you have a mirror, like a handheld mirror, this is super valuable. You look at the painting. You look at the painting through the handheld mirror, just like your cell phone camera. You're going to get a fresh perspective on it. And it's actually a second set of eyes that you have in creating your art. So right now we're drawing, we're super critical, we're worried about that it's not turning out right. Well, when you use your camera or a mirror, it's like a friend saying, hey, this is what it needs. And once we start drawing or painting, you'll see how that works. It really is a great tool for creating great art. All right, so let me ask again, how are you doing with that basic shape of the ballerina? Feeling better? Should we do a few more drawings? You can give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. All right, I'm seeing some thumbs up. Excellent. Nice, Eric. All right, so any thumbs down? I can't see everybody, so Jake, if you can scroll and.
I'm looking, I don't see any thumbs down. I see a lot of thumbs up.
All right. Again, this is where painting is fun because so many artists, if they could do one thing in their art, it would be that they create more loosely, more expressively. And that's the beauty of this style of painting. So going back to when I was growing up, I loved to just apply paint to the canvas and almost look for things that were in the painting. Like I'd splash the painting on there and then look for subjects in it. My mind could see these different characters, animals, people, faces in the paint. So that's what got me thinking about how I'm going to paint. And so this style of painting has worked for me for just about 20 years. And I'm super happy sharing it with people because every one of us, again, is going to paint different. This is just a fun way to get ourselves painting. And that's really what's important. The more we paint, And the more we edit, the more frustration we go through, the more we realize what our style of painting is. Even if you decide you want to paint hyper realistic, this will be beneficial because the power of suggestion is amazing. Actually, Pete, speaking of the power of suggestion, let's talk about Ernest Hemingway. If you saw the post, now I know you've got, anybody who's taken the classes a few times, they've heard it so many times, but I actually went and Googled it to find out what the real story was. So Hemingway is considered one of America's greatest writers, but he was also criticized because he was a simpleton to the critics. And so he wrote with simple words and simple thoughts, simple subjects. And one critic mocked him and said, you don't need a dictionary to read a Hemingway book. But again, he's considered one of the greatest authors. So he was criticized, but he told a group of these critics, I bet I can make you cry with 6 words. And so the challenge was on $10 was from each of the critics, if he could do it. And so he wrote, for sale, baby shoes, never worn. For sale, baby shoes, never worn. He tells a whole novel in 6 words. And so why is this important? Because he got them involved. He had them create the story in their mind, right? So in art, if we can do that, now we're getting the viewer, we're getting a customer maybe involved in our art, and we're storytelling just like Hemingway, but only using a few details. We're letting the viewer fill in all the rest of the details. So that's what we learned from Hemingway and his style of writing. And of course, if you look at some of the meanings behind his books, it's fascinating, the great stories he said or that he told by symbolism. So that's what we want to achieve in painting in this manner. All right, so now that you have all fallen asleep, let's start painting. So I'm going to put up my, let's see here. Give me 1 second. So we can start taking out our colors, our paint. All right, I am going to move this back just a hair, just so I can get in here. How's that, Jake?
That's I think that might even be better because the canvas is bigger than the notebook was. So
good, because I'm trying to fit in here to paint, so this will help out a lot. All right, so we're going to throw up our primaries, and of course with primaries, we should be able to make just about any color, but it is a lot of work to get that exact color. So if you want to buy other colors than just the primaries, I recommend it. But one good thing about just using primaries is that you will keep the color harmony in your painting. And I'll explain that a little bit more as we go along here. So I'm going to throw up the 3 primaries. So we have lemon yellow is the true primary, but I'm actually using cadmium yellow light just because it has a little bit more pigment in it, and I can control the color a bit more with it. So it's an alternative to lemon yellow. And magenta. We're going to throw up our white. And I'm just going to put in a little bit of black. But if you saw on the list, I recommended 2 other colors, and that's Indian yellow and cadmium red light. So if you do not have these colors, no problem. If you use a yellow, a blue, and a red, maybe some alternatives, the principles that we're going to use to paint this painting, no matter what colors you're using, it will work. So do not fret if you do not have the colors that I have. And here is cadmium red light.
Someone was wondering, what is magenta?
So it comes across as pink, right? But if you take magenta and mix it with the yellow, which I will, actually, let me get some gloves on.
All right. Well, while you're doing that, someone was also wondering what you use for a palette. And typically you use like a sheet of glass. You
Yeah,
have it on cardboard or something right now.
yeah, this is just stock cardboard. And the glass, just like it's doing here, it just slides down the glass. So I've been using cardboard and it works pretty good. All right, let's test our theory since this is a primary.
All right, let's see here.
You can see we got an orange.
Couple more questions. Someone's wondering what Indian yellow is, and then also we actually got a few questions.
So Indian yellow is, where is it? It is a tinting color. I call it a tinting color. It's translucent, but if you mix Indian yellow with just about any color, you get, the result is the most amazing color. So if you mix it with, actually, this is an interesting thing. If you take red and add white, you're hoping to get pink, right? Well, actually, it turns out to this very cool, it doesn't become red or pink, it becomes just a very light white, light off white red. Mix in some cadmium yellow with it, and it's pretty cool, the color that you get from it. So cadmium red light is kind of an orange, but it is still considered red, and I use it as a red.
There are a few, or another question is, we just ran out of red. Any suggestions?
No problem. How much? We're going to actually, let's create some mud. I'm going to grab just a little bit of every color. So one thing that people always wonder is how can they get amazing colors in their painting? Mud. Mud is your friend. And so what mud does is every color is in here, so it connects everything. It unites the painting. And sometimes we take the bright colors and put them onto the canvas, and it just comes out very loud, almost obnoxious sometimes. And so we want to tone that down just a little bit. Just start mixing those colors together, and using it as accents. We'll get to Bob Ross in a little bit. Using them as accents is going to tone down that painting, but it's also going to enhance those beautiful colors that you were hoping for. So instead of it becoming loud, now it has these supporting, I call them supporting actors, like a play. You have your main characters, you have supporting actors. This mud is the supporting actors, and it really enhances the main colors. All right, so how do we find out what color this is? Let's just add a little bit of white to it. So it's a very cool gray. Now, I can take that color, I can warm it up, I can cool it down. I can actually, let's take a red. Not the class you wanted, you were thinking you were going to be painting ballerinas. That's a little strong. Let's add a little bit more red. This is now going to support that because of this. Now let's do a little blue.
Looks like someone doesn't have blue. What would you recommend if they didn't have blue?
Do you have black? And hopefully ivory black or chrome, yeah, chrome black. What was the guy's name? Zorn, Anders Zorn. He only used, I think he used vermilion, which is similar to the cadmium red light. He used ivory black and yellow ochre. Only those three colors. And then of course, white. And he created, if you have a chance, Google Anders Zorn or even the Zorn palette. And he is an incredible artist, and he only used those three colors and then white. So ivory black, yellow ochre, and vermilion. And of course, if you're starting out, try to fine tune some basic colors that you like and stick with those colors. Be loyal to those colors, because then you'll know how they're going to react. You know what they're going to do for you, how they're going to work in the painting. So yeah, there you go. Now again, everybody fell asleep. let's get painting.
We got one more question real quick. What happens if we don't have black?
Do you have, and they don't have blue either?
No, this is a different person.
Oh, all right. So you can take, here's a great black. If you have cadmium red and blue. So why does that work? Why is it so similar to that? Cadmium red has a yellow in it, and now we're mixing it with the blue. Yeah, so take your, to get an ideal black, take a warm dark color and a cool dark color. So cadmium red light is obviously warm, blue is cool, mix them together, you should get a really nice black from it. All right, so I was originally, maybe what we'll do as part of our mess that we make at first, we'll be kind of getting rid of all this white. Yeah, definitely keep the questions coming. So I'm gonna just take some yellow, since that's so safe. Maybe I'll use Indian yellow. It's a safe color. I can always go over the top. So I'm gonna just come in and just kind of get my basic shapes down. Not worried about anything. If I make a mistake, big deal. So it took no skill at all to do that. And here's my theory. Do not like your painting, hate your painting at this point. You can walk away from this because you don't care, right? Just apply that paint on there. No worries, because we're gonna eventually start liking it and making it better. And a good way to illustrate that is building a house. The guys that come in there to remove all the trees and brush and, you know, bulldoze the earth around, they could care less what pillow is going on your couch, right? And the guys that come in and pour concrete, build the walls, put sheetrock on, they could care less, or they couldn't care less about your pillow. Maybe the guy who's putting the paint on, when he gets to that point, he's starting to think about that favorite pillow that's going to go on the couch. Maybe the carpet is involved, but only then are you starting to consider the nice things about your house. So the same thing is true with painting. Only when we get into the painting further, then start caring or liking the painting. But right now, we don't care. Everything can be fixed. And of course, Bob Ross, that good guy, he said, allow those happy accidents to happen. Those happy accidents, those little things that all of a sudden, just intriguing little details, we want those to happen in our paintings. That's what is going to make, that's what's going to help suggest or tell the story of our ballerina. All right, so I'm going to take a little magenta, a little white, and I get a really bad or a strong pink. So I'm just going to tone it down a little bit. Now it's going gray on me. So let's grab a little bit of Indian yellow. All right, now it's getting closer to a skin tone. All right. Close enough. Good enough for members of my family. Sorry, Jake. All right, let's just throw some color on there.
That's okay. I can accept it. Someone's wondering what colors did you combine?
So basically magenta, white, a little bit of my mud, and then a little bit of Indian yellow. Yeah. And again, it's not perfect. Remember, I'm going to start editing later, so I'm going to get closer to the colors that I want in the future. Right now, I'm just kind of looking for those happy accidents.
And then if anyone's wondering, the mud is the just all the colors mixed together.
All right, so what do I mean by editing? I'm gonna grab a little bit of cadmium red light. So I'm starting to see her in my painting. So I'm gonna just kind of take this color and shaping her a little bit. And as I do that, I'm actually seeing more and more of her. So I'm making decisions based on what I'm seeing. So I'm editing based on my intuition. You're painting her head and shape of her head, her face. That's all going to be unique to you. So as you're editing, look for what is making sense in your mind. Are you seeing a face? We're not going to actually do a face. We're just going to suggest the face tonight. But right now, I see right here, her head is looking out at me. I like the proportions of her neck, where her shoulders are. So I'm really happy with how this is turning out. So I'm just going to keep, maybe if I do this, you guys can see it too. And so why did I add so much red? That is one of the other ways of creating harmony in your painting. So I could actually just go and put red across the whole background. And what I'm trying to do again is get rid of all that white. And so a quicker way of doing this whole thing is just painting the background a solid color. You can use oil, you can use acrylic first underneath the oil. Cover the whole thing, let it dry, and then you can start painting over it with oil. If you want, you can tone the whole canvas with oil paint and start painting right away. So if you have a little rig, I'm just going to go around and rub this all in.
How's everyone doing so far? Any further questions or issues or frustration. Just let us know if you have any questions.
So while everybody's painting the background, I'm just going to take some of my mud and create some definition in the ballerina, just so it's easier to see her.
Hey, Jeff, I'm just going to step away here for a sec.
All right. So her second leg might get completely covered up with the tutu, so I'm not worrying too much about her leg. And again, as we're painting, remember that power of suggestion that we learned from Hemingway. I keep a little note in my studio that says the power of suggestion is greater than the statement of reality. And what that means is if we painted a realistic ballerina, the story's been told. It's like a whole novel. We've told the whole story already. But if we suggest the ballerina, now we're kind of allowing the viewer to tell the rest of the story. So we want to suggest things, and it gets the viewer more involved. It's more intriguing. If we painted a realistic ballerina, everything's perfect. It looks like a photo. Someone might look at our painting and say, well, technically that is an excellent painting, but there's not necessarily a story involved. A lot of times you may hear of a painting that's called a study. And that's the purpose of it, is to get the idea of the shapes and the colors and that type of thing in a realistic manner. But then, like we did with the sketching, you become confident, and now you can paint loosely, and now you get to put some emotion into the painting. So a study might be more realistic, but a sketch or a loose painting is going to have not only the story of whatever we're painting, but also some emotion that goes along with it. I'm gonna do a little more editing here. So I'm trying to slow myself down. If I was actually painting this for myself, and let's go further, if I was painting this for a gallery, I would paint this painting as fast as I could. I would be just slinging paint onto the canvas and trusting my intuition, editing, adding more paint, editing, adding more paint. And my intuition takes over. And if it doesn't look right, I remove it. If it feels good, I leave it on there and I keep moving forward. And only at the very end, I'll go sit in a chair and stare at it and then have a conversation with the painting and let it tell me what it needs. So at that point, it might tell me that her leg is too short, which I'm looking at this and I'm seeing that it's starting to look a little short on me. So then I'll know that I have to make an adjustment. But that idea of just applying paint, having fun, hoping that happy accidents are going to happen, and they will happen. That's what's going to make a great painting. That's what's going to be telling this great story of our ballerina. So maybe if we get done early enough, if everybody has extra paint laying around and another canvas, even if you have piece of cardboard, we're going to do a quick sketch. We're going to repaint the painting, but we're going to do it maybe in 15 minutes. And the reason why is that exercise forces us to use our intuition. The power of suggestion. So with the colors, I've added some more skin tones to her. They're a little bit warmer than the first one. There is a little bit of a blue in there, and sometimes it turns into a green, which I'm happy with. If you look around at everybody's faces, you will see multiple colors in somebody's face, where I'm looking at people, I see blue in their face, I see a red, I see an orange, a pink, yellow. So it's okay that we're allowing these extra colors to be introduced into the painting. Again, we're suggesting something, we're telling a story. The viewer is the one that has to tell the rest of the story. Hemingway only gave us 6 words, but in our mind, we got a big novel in our head, what happened in that story. So what I do is I keep playing around with those tones of color, lightening them up. Sometimes I'll darken them. And as I get lighter, so I'm going to have the light source actually coming. Let me add a little white here. The light source is going to be coming like that. So obviously the light coming this way, her shoulder and the back, going down her back is going to receive the lightest colors, and some of her tutu out behind her. But for the skin tones, I'm just going to keep lightening it up. And adding less color, but it's going to be more of the suggestion. All right, so how's everybody doing? Are you liking your ballerina? You better not say yes. If you say yes, you failed the class. No, not really. But again, the idea is we're making a mess. We're kind of throwing in shapes and colors, suggesting the ballerina, and we're letting the paint, the looseness, start telling the story. We're not trying to tell the story, the whole story. We're just trying to give enough details so that the viewer has to get mentally and emotionally involved, and then tell the rest of the story in their mind. Oh, I missed the name. Great comment though. Yeah, so what time is it? Oh yeah, we got plenty of time. When we do that quick exercise at the end, usually what happens is you actually create a better painting. So we've actually painted this person, sketched and painted this person now many times. So that quick sketch, it's completely intuition. And so we're painting, we're doing it quickly, we're trusting our intuition. There's little things, details, these happy accidents that happen. And we think, oh, that's perfect for suggesting the little foot behind her leg, her first leg. So we leave it, we trust it, and we keep moving forward. Matter of fact, apply the paint and leave it. Do not fidget with the paint. Trust that first stroke. Later, as you are having a conversation with your painting, then you might recognize that it doesn't work. But as you're painting, trust that first stroke. Do not fidget with it. And here's another thing. If you're using a palette knife, hold your palette knife with the end of your fingers. If you hold it like a knife, you're going to drag your knuckles through the paint, or you're going to be stabbing your canvas, and you'll get these weird divots in your painting. So when you use the ends of your fingers, you literally have perfect control of that palette knife now. It becomes an extension of your fingers. So use the tip of your fingers for holding onto the palette knife, and it'll go back and forth, forward, backwards, and it might be awkward at first, but it will become more natural, and you're going to be so much happier with how the painting goes onto the canvas. Again, if you're holding it like a knife, you're going to be stabbing the canvas. Someone asked if they could see the beginning sketches. Oh, it's in here. Okay. So someone asked, what colors did I combine? So for the skin, I'm actually taking my yellows, my Indian yellow and my cadmium yellow light, my magenta and cadmium red light, and using those to control my mud. So I started out with almost a light gray, but now I've been using those colors back and forth to create warmer, cooler skin tones. And again, that idea is using just a little bit of that mud in there is helping to harmonize the painting. And so why do we do that? Imagine a red sunset. That red sky, as it goes out across the land, affects everything that's on the land. So trees, which are green, end up having a red hint to them. The grasses have a red hint. Houses that are white now have a red hint to that white color. So the idea is our mud is an atmosphere. And so when we take that mud and keep adding it to all of our base colors, we're creating the lighting in the painting. So I can imagine behind the stage, it's dark. There's just a few lights back there, and our ballerina happens to be catching one of those lights. So it's going to be a dark background, and just a little bit of light suggesting the outline of her. But all of that mud color is what's harmonizing our painting. So I'm going to keep repeating things because we have to hear something 22 times, I believe, before it starts making sense. So, or before we start trusting it, that's what it is. So advertisers, they keep putting their product out there, and pretty soon after 22 times, we start trusting it. So I'm going to keep repeating a lot of the things tonight in the painting. All right, so one of the cool things about this process of using that mud, so I've started out, mud is the base, and I've been going out from there. But when we get out to the very end of our spectrum, we don't need the mud anymore, because this is going to be our main color, or our main actor. The mud is supporting actors. Now we can come in here and do this nice, clean, beautiful color. And it stands out. So I'm going to go even lighter than that. Now I'm using the almost pure colors here. So there's one color theory. You have the mud and you mix all your colors together. All of your shaping is used with that mud. And then you can start using the pure colors that are already in the mud, and that all those other colors support those pure colors. There's other color theories that go along that you can use also, but that's one that I really like. It just seems to really make painting easy. And again, the idea is creating that color harmony in the painting. So all I did is I added white. Oh, I'll hold off a minute. Yeah, so I'll while I'm holding off. So the reason when I was growing up, I took art classes. I had all my friends were artists, and I was too afraid to show my art because my art didn't look like their art. And these guys were amazing. And so I became afraid. I didn't think I was an artist because my art didn't look like everybody else's, right? So I would paint and keep my paintings in the garage and never showed anybody. I ended up showing a friend. He actually talked me into bringing them into a gallery and just getting their opinion on them. And again, I'm going in there. It is such a horrible feeling because art is so personal. And actually, I went into a gallery. They told me no. They said they didn't want to see my art. So I was like, okay. And it must have been the crying and stuff. They felt sorry for me. So they said, all right, we'll take a look. So I brought my art in and they liked it. They actually bought the pieces and they were sold by the end of the weekend. And so now all of a sudden I'm an artist, right? And I still struggled with that idea that my art doesn't look like other people's art. So I'm not a real artist. And so every time I would try to paint like other artists, my sales went down. Every time I painted my way, my style, my sales maintained. And so I started learning, hey, Picasso painted his unique style. Van Gogh painted his unique style. Lichtenstein, Jackson Pollock, they all painted what made sense to them. They told their story in a way that made sense to them. So all of a sudden I decided, I'm not even going to try to do what other people are doing. I'm only going to focus on what makes sense to me. And so that's the idea behind these classes. Just getting the confidence to apply paint on the canvas, and then your intuition starts coming out of it. Your style of painting starts coming out of the more you paint. So that's a true story. Maybe you might feel that same way. I don't paint. I'm not a good artist because I don't paint this way. Try to get past that fear and just paint what makes sense. And your style, you will create better paintings by trusting your intuition. All right, so how's everybody doing? Should we move on to the tutu? I'm seeing a lot of thumbs up. Any thumbs down? All right, so this is what I'm going to do with the tutu. So I'm going to paint a white tutu, but if I paint just white, how boring. So what I did is I grabbed my white, mixed it in with my mud. Now I have a muddy blue color, muddy blue gray color. I don't know if you can see that or not. So now I'm going to start putting this in my shadows. Going over the other colors, letting them blend in. I do it once and trust it. So as soon as you start doing this, where are you going? Oh, I'm wrecking it. It's going, it's leaving. I'm losing oh, it's ruined. I overworked it. So that's why you don't apply the paint, trust that first stroke. Live with it for a little bit and then make the decision whether to take it off or make any adjustments on it. All right, so now that I wrecked my painting, I gotta start over. Actually, let's put some down here too.
Thanks for sacrificing your painting, Jeff, for a teaching point.
I quit, I'm going home. So I'm going to add more white on here. I got rid of all of that color that I just created. What was left on my palette, I'm now mixing into the white. Again, it connects the colors. And so
That looks good.
good, okay. You know, what's funny is I squirted out black and I haven't even touched it. But look at all the black that's in my painting. And so traditional artists won't even put a black on their palette. They'll create all of their blacks because usually a black will kill a painting, just like a pure white will kill a painting. So you never want to use a pure black or a pure white. If you want that black color, if you're using the black, I suggest mixing in just a little of that cadmium red light, or maybe if you want it cooler, mixing in some of the blue. And now you're getting at least a better black. If you want a really good black, the cadmium red light and that cyan blue works fantastic. If you have a dark blue and a dark brown color, so like a burnt umber, that makes a more natural black. They do make, I think it's called chrome black. Carbon black. I knew that wasn't right. So carbon black is a black where they took all the colors, mixed it together, exactly what this is, but you can buy it right out of the tube. It's another way to suggest something and fool the viewer's eye by using those other blacks. So I see everybody working hard. I hope you're not fidgeting. Jake, you can tell if they're fidgeting, right? You have a way, you have technology to do that?
Yep.
Okay,
I can send an electric shocks to the computer so they won't fidget.
perfect. This is hardcore training. So one cool thing also about the painting fast is it doesn't allow you to fidget. You have to apply paint and do it with confidence and then trust it. So you just keep moving forward. And matter of fact, just like we were sketching originally, what you should do is just keep painting the ballerina over and over again as quick as you can. Editing as much detail as you can in order to tell the story.
All right, Jeff. Melissa said she loved her ballerina. She says she knows she'll get kicked out, but she loves her ballerina.
Oh man, there's always got to be one of those in the class. Troublemaker. Send her outside. Put her outside the room.
All right.
When I was in third grade, I had such a crush on my teacher that I would get nervous and I'd just keep telling these dumb jokes. And she kept sending me out in the hallway. But then I got out in the hallway and there was a window. I could stare back in the window at her. Mrs. Black. I'll never forget her.
That is hilarious. I haven't heard that one before.
Yeah. Third grade Romeo.
Little Jeffrey.
She showed us a pie chart and asked, what does this pie chart mean? And I just came back from being out in the hallway and I raised my hand and my heart's fluttering because I'm looking at her. And I said, somebody's not getting as much pie as the other person. Jeff, back out to the hallway. I couldn't help myself.
No,
I was
you
telling
weren't wrong.
dad jokes back then. I was doing dad jokes before they were cool. Back then, they were just called bad jokes.
Oh man, we might have to
Right, so we
keep you
have-
out now, Jeff.
I know. Out to the hallway, Jeff. All right, so again, repeating this concept, we have all of these mud colors, all of these colors that have been influenced by that main color, right? And because we have those, because all of our colors are in there, now we're going to go to the far spectrum and we're going to have a very clean white color, but we're going to just add a tiny tint of yellow, of the cadmium yellow light. And because all of these colors are already in here, it's going to connect with the colors that we have. So let's grab a bunch of white. I should, not a bunch, just size the end of your finger. And I am literally grabbing, you won't even feel like it's going to influence the white color. That's how small of an amount of yellow that I'm grabbing. And so I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's pretty white.
Someone said, glad that's on the recording.
What's that? What's that?
Someone said, glad that's on the recording.
Oh, that, yeah, I forgot that we were recording. Ugh. So I'm actually, oh man.
What are the secrets you got, Jeff?
All right. When I was 10, so I took that, so probably 97% of it was white and 3% was yellow, that cadmium yellow light. I don't have a pure white on my canvas, but I have a slightly tinted warm white on there. And so now when I put in the background color, that's just going to shine so much. It's really going to stand out. I'm actually going to form her back just a little bit more. We are so close to being done, you won't even believe it. Okay, well, let's just take a break. If you haven't stepped away from your painting, do that. Look at it through your camera lens. And because we are getting to the point where we're starting to like it. Melissa didn't wait until I said you could like it. And so, no, but so look through your camera lens and you'll actually be able to start that conversation with your painting. The painting's going to tell you, hey, it just doesn't seem right here. So what can you do? What can you do to fix it? And so that's what your canvas is asking you. And so you have to respond to your canvas by fixing it. All right, so I'm gonna fill in my background. And what I'm gonna do is I have all my original mud right there. I'm gonna take some of this black just for a filler, all my blue, all my magenta, and all my cadmium red. And I'm gonna just make a nice dark color. I'm not adding any of the yellows because I don't want to warm it up. So cool colors will recede in the painting. And that's why I do have yellow in there, but it's just because of the original mud color. And this is where we get to have some fun. By just moving around that canvas and really editing. So what happens when I get around my nice white tutu color here? I'm actually going to go into it. I allowed some of that background color to influence that tutu area. And so what I'm going to do then is go back after and just add a few details of that pure white again, or my lightest color. editing in that back arm just a little bit.
All right. Let's see here. It looks like there's a couple questions here. Have you always painted with a palette knife, or how did you get started with using it?
The reason I like palette knife is that it's an immediate response. You immediately get the color that you want. And that's what I'm, why I also like texture.
And did you start out with a paintbrush, or did you start with the palette knife?
That's a good question. I think I've always used do you know what I used? I used a plastic scraper, a cheap plastic scraper that you get from Home Depot or Menards or Lowe's.
Oh, like a putty knife or something?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Well, there you go. All right, here's another question here. What was mixed for the dark gray outlining? I was fidgeting, sorry. Uh-oh.
I just went, I took every color except yellow. So all of my mud, my blue, my cadmium red, my magenta, my black, I used up that and just made a, kind of went all in on it. And so now I'm just, right now I'm just looking at what it needs, editing certain areas. And the hardest part is, you know that you have to make an adjustment on it, but you like that part so much. Maybe it's one of the happy accidents. Do not like your painting that much. Destroy the painting in order to make it better.
Someone said their ballerina ended up bald. Hair plugs?
Yes. I know I really like my toupee. So that's what I recommend.
Yeah. Just make sure you put a hat on when it's windy.
That's right.
Hey Jeff, when you get a sec, looks like someone wants to show their painting. I don't know. Are you able to see everyone on the grid view?
I can see 12 of them at a time.
Okay. The reason I ask is because we're recording this, so I wasn't sure about posting or pinning people.
Oh, okay.
So I just want to be
Um,
careful about that. Let's see here. It looks like it's Maggie that wants to show her painting. I'm not sure if you're able to scroll over.
yeah, sure, give me 1 second. Oh, I see Maggie. Hi, Maggie. Now, I hope you're not going to show me up again. Because the last couple of weeks, your paintings always turn out better than mine.
Jeff cries about it.
I do. All right. Dun, 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 dun. I knew it. I just knew you were going to do that again. Every time yours turns out better than mine. I love that one. Now, is that Jake? I see Jake in there.
What, she did a portrait of me?
Yeah.
Oh man. Must be the shoes or something. That's what gives it away. All right, no rush, Jeff. But there's another that wants to just show you their painting.
All right. I'm just.
And just a reminder for anyone that joined a little later, we're posting this class to YouTube. We're only recording obviously Jeff and we have everyone muted. So, but we'll be posting it to YouTube so you can go back and watch anything you missed or just review anything that you'd like to review. All right, it looks like there's someone else or a couple people maybe that want to show theirs. And then there's a question. Does Jeff suggest a washable or disposable rag for cleaning off? This a washable or disposable rag for cleaning off the palette knife while painting. And
I
what
keep
is your
paper
go-to?
towels in my hands, and I keep wiping it off with paper towels.
Do you think you'd be able to do a washable rag? I suppose maybe not with oils.
Yeah. So what happens is oils is kind of a monster. It's like washing a red shirt with white clothes. Everything gets affected by that red shirt. The same is true with oil. So like that washable rag, what you're going to do is just keep spreading the oil paint. So you can wash them with soap and water. It will take a lot of effort, but paper towel works the best. All right, so it is just a little bit after 8 o'clock. Should we try a really quick painting with our leftover paint? All right, so one of the things that I think about when I'm painting with color, and I've said this before, red is no longer red, it's warm. Yellow is warmer than red. Blue is cool. I think about light colors, dark colors. So if my painting is turning mostly blue tones, I can diffuse that by adding orange colors. If my painting is turning mostly purple, I can diffuse it by adding some yellow colors. These are the complements. So yellow and purple, blue and orange, red and green. So that's one of the things that I'm thinking about as I'm applying the paint is what do I do to keep it interesting, creating contrasts. Oh, I saw somebody said they had to go. So we'll hopefully see you another time. But maybe what we can do is just do that quick painting. And really, we want to do it in 15 minutes. So that's going to be, we really have to not think about accuracy, but start using, thinking about colors as warm, cool, dark, light, muddy, clean colors. any contrast that you can think of as you're painting, that's what you want to use to your benefit in the painting. So subconsciously keep that in the back of your mind. All right, Jake, are you going to time us?
Yes, sir.
Should we do, let's see here. Should we do 15 minutes or 20 minutes?
Yeah, I can. Which one would you rather do? 15 or 20?
Let's do 20 since this is a little bit more complicated.
Perfect.
Let me find my canvases. Hopefully everybody remembers how we started out sketching. I'm gonna just give myself a little bit more room here. There we go.
All right.
Refresh some of my colors. Oh,
Okay.
sorry.
No, you're good. Get set before I say go. Forgot you probably need some extra paint there.
Actually, I'm gonna throw some black up there just since Jake is very demanding about time. So I don't
Chop,
want to take any chances of running out of color.
It's taking you so long, Jeff.
Time's up. All right, so we're going to start out. We don't like our painting. We're just building the foundation, the structure of our ballerina. We're going to trust our instincts and how we apply the paint and the colors that we use. This is it. This is where you graduate and you become an official, a bona fide artist. Yes, you do. If you learn to trust your instincts, you are an artist. All right, Jake, give us the countdown.
All right, ready?
Anybody
3.
as nervous as I am?
Countdown from 100.
Yep.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
will you give us, oh, Jake abandoned us. Hey, Jake, will you give us 5-minute increments?
Yes, I will. Right now we're at 16 minutes.
What's the time? We're getting closer. Or how much time do we have left? Oh, you're muted, Jake. Hey, Jake, can you hear me? Okay, let's tell stories about Jake. All right, when Jake was about 10, can you hear us, Jake? How much time do we have left?
Can you hear me now? All right, it looks like it's working now. Sorry, my microphone wasn't working for a sec. We are at 8:40 right now left.
I want you to know, Jake, I didn't say anything bad about you, but everybody else did.
Well, thanks for letting me know.
I tried to stop them, but
That's what you always say, though. All right, we're right at 5 minutes. We're right at 2.5 minutes. Yeah, and someone mentioned this one. This one is their favorite one so far.
Oh, good.
All right, we're right above, we're right at 1 minute. Someone mentioned also, are we going to have an art class next week? Yes, we are. We're going to be painting this same subject or similar subject. We're going to do ballerinas again.
Yeah, so we'll do a different pose. Maybe we'll just do that standing traditional pose that we looked at earlier. But again, hopefully the classes, there might be some repeat classes, but that's okay. I paint the same subject over and over and over and over again. And just like we did with the sketches, what I'm trying to do is create muscle memory. So you think of, and that's okay as an artist. Andy Warhol built his reputation on repeating the same subject over and over again. And so that's okay to do. Boogie down. And it's okay to become known as the ballerina artist or the flower artist or the birch tree artist. You know, you want people to recognize you and your style, and that's what the collectors want. A gentleman that mentored me, we were talking about a famous Western artist, and he's showing me a painting that you would never recognize. Oh, it was Russell. And it was something that he normally didn't paint. And so I was saying how cool it would be to have that painting. He says, well, from a collector, because the gentleman was a collector, from a collector's standpoint, I don't want that painting because it's a one-off. I want to have a painting of what he's known for, those traditional Western scenes. And so that idea of becoming known as the ballerina artist, it's actually to your advantage if you choose to become an artist, a professional artist. All right, so I know we have a little bit of time left. Usually what happens is we can't get to everybody, so I'm a little afraid to, maybe what we can do is just have everybody hold up their painting. And because what's cool is, remember, this is your painting. This is your style. Your intuition, your creativity went into this painting. And so it is going to be fantastic. Okay. If you applied the principles, you will have a fantastic painting. So we won't be able to get to make comments on everybody's, but if you want to hold up your painting, and what's cool, so right, you might do this. You'll do one of two things. You'll see some paintings that you like better, but then you'll also see some paintings that you don't like as much, and then you feel better about your painting. All of that is okay because you're just kind of figuring out your style. Oh man, look at them. Absolutely fantastic. Look at, okay, so look at the variety. Look at how everybody's looks different. Each one is unique. And I am not seeing a bad one yet. Oh wait, who's that guy that's Jeff? Oh, that's me. Oops, that's okay. That's a bad one. Oh man.
These are all
So
awesome.
they are. They absolutely are. And so I love the fact that a lot of you kind of took some creative license and just kind of made it your own. That's really what art is all about. Just make it your own. Experiment. Try things that you wouldn't normally try. I painted this ballerina completely different than the first one, just how I approached it. I knew I only had so much time, so I was just doing it, applying paint as fast as I could. And so, Oh, we just got a message on there. Never mind. So I got a different effect from painting a different way, even though I painted the exact same thing. I am so impressed, you guys. So did this class take away some of the fear? Because I think the biggest roadblock, the biggest enemy as far as being creative is fear. Being afraid to even get started. You buy all this material. What if you start and the painting doesn't turn out? And so you choose not to start. Well, what if I wreck it? What if I overdo it? What if there's the questions go on. And they all are things that stop us from being creative. So that's why I like this style of painting, is because it allows me to get rid of the fear by creating the mess right away, and then solving the problems in order to get to the finished product. So to me, it's all math equations, not necessarily numbers, but equations that come together that make the final product or the final painting.
Looks like
All right. So, and then next week, okay, Deb Halverson says, when I open a new tube of paint and a bunch of oil comes out, was it frozen or what? Lucas Oil Professional. My CAD red and yellow was cold. When I accepted delivery, I opened it right away. Oil paint over time will just start to separate. You might have noticed that if when I applied paint a few times, the oil ran down first. So what you do is just take your palette knife, mix it all back up together. Whatever amount you have on your palette, just mix it together.
There was another question. Someone was wondering, how did you get the lighter lining around her hair?
I literally just grabbed with the tip of my palette knife. I got some on the very end and drew with it.
Very interesting.
And I did it with confidence. I had to make a little adjustment, but that first initial stroke of drawing out the outline of her hair, I was super pleased with. Matter of fact, if you go back and you try to make it better, like the first stroke is great, so you think you can make it greater, or it's good, so you want to make it gooder. Try not to do that. Trust that initial stroke. Yeah, so I hope I hope it was fun and that you guys learned a lot. I hope you're happy with your paintings. And I hope you keep painting.
Yeah. I hope you paint with us.
Say, even if we do a repeated subject, sorry, Jake, if we repeat a subject, take the class again and give it away as a gift.
There you go.
Any last minute questions or comments? Criticism?
Oh, wait, someone had a joke.
I saw it.
Oh, you saw it. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, I'm still groaning inside. Actually, it was a pretty good joke, to be honest with you. What was it? Why don't cows do ballet?
Yep.
Because they're lactose. They lactose. Wah, wah, wah.
And now everyone's dropping off.
Rich, thank you.
Thank you. Awesome.
All right,
Thank-
so if there's no other questions, we will see you next week. Yeah, so I'll get some videos out on Instagram and just some ideas of what we'll be doing. And in the meantime, take your charcoal and just do quick sketches. Keep doing this sketch. You will get some good ones and you'll get some bad ones. That's okay. You will get the bad art just comes along with the good art. I have a whole studio full of bad art. It reminds me of what not to do next time. All right, we will see you guys next week.
All right. See you guys. Thanks for joining.
Thank you.